Good morning and welcome to Weekends with Whitney. The Louisiana Marathon is underway right now. Runners from all 50 states and 36 countries are racing in Red Stick this morning. But it's more than a marathon. It's a festival, not just for runners, but everyone. Find out how you can get on the fun today. Plus, we'll take you behind the scenes at the movie DOA Blood River. We'll meet the stars and take the pulse of Louisiana's movie industry heading into 2017. Then DR.NICK shows us how we're making this new year harder on ourselves than it has to be and how to change it. But first, more than 8,000 runners are pounding the pavement right now for the 6th Louisiana Marathon. But it's more than a running event. It's a running festival with Lagniappe.
Move it! I like to move it, move it. I like to move it, move it. I like to move it, move it. You like to move it.
Wait, let's back this up.
Want to take the leg off?
A lot of legwork goes into running this show. Traffic cones, banners, boxes bulging with swag, and scaffolding are all part of what's now a $1 million marathon. Its economic impact is quadruple that. Not bad for a race co-founder Pat Fellows says some didn't think would make it from the start.
I remember when we went in, the first conversations we had when we went into LSU and said, we want to finish in Tiger Stadium. We're going to have a 2,500, 5,000 people. And they said, oh, your little race will have 300 people. We're not interested in having y'all. And y'all can have it on the front 9 where all the other 5Ks go. And we went downtown, and at the time, the mayor and everybody was like, we want you. So, and nothing against LSU, I get it. They just didn't have any, nobody's had put on a race that's this big in town, so.
Sure, they didn't have your vision.
No, but that's how it goes sometimes.
It's all right, you showed them what you could do.
Exactly.
Nearly 9,000 people from 32 countries will compete this year. Co-founder Craig Sweeney says every race is memorable, but it'll be extra special for one guy.
But we have a gentleman coming from England who's running his 400th marathon. So it's going to be pretty cool.
What won't be cool is the weather. Are you worried about the warm weather this year?
I'm not.
It's going to be great for you.
If I was running, yeah, I'd be a little bit concerned.
Last year's cold weather worried race director Jonathan Juba. This year, it's enough cold water.
So we will have more medical staff. We'll be able to respond to heat-related injuries and illness quicker. We have an ice deployment plan, so we'll be making sure that we have ice out on the course, an adequate amount of ice for all the runners. When it's warm like this, and look, for spectators, it's going to be perfect. For all the friends and family out there, they're going to absolutely love it. For somebody running a full-distance marathon, it's hot.
Jonathan knows firsthand. He started running 10 years ago.
A buddy of mine that I was working with, that we were traveling for work, and he's like, we got to start running, so otherwise we're going to pack the pounds on. So we started running together when we were traveling, and then that led to adventure races.
Then triathlons, then marathons. Do you win?
No. The people that win those things are not human. I don't know what who they are or where they come from, but no, I don't win. I have fun.
Yeah. It must be addictive.
It is. It's something that, setting a goal and working to achieve it, and a personal goal. Yeah. My goal is not to win, but a personal goal and achieving it's a lot of fun. It's rewarding, and I've always looked at it that, I hate exercise. Exercising is terrible. Like, going to run for exercise sounds awful, but I can train. So if I have a goal, it's not exercise, it's training, and training gets you out the door.
I'll remember that.
Wanting to look good naked only gets you out of bed like 2 times, and then it's over after that.
So that's what I've been doing wrong all these years. These guys love running so much, they kiss their previous jobs goodbye.
Now it's what we do full time.
Wow.
Quit our real jobs 3.5 years ago, and now work really hard.
Now work really hard.
For no money.
But a lot of love.
But love it. I wouldn't trade it for anything. But yeah, never worked this hard before in my life.
For so little.
For so little. We joke all the time. I'm pretty sure I'm unemployable at this age. I don't think I could go back and work for somebody else.
Right.
What do you mean have to wear pants?
Dress code? What?
Tank
What
top.
do you mean you don't like my t-shirt?
It's tank top every day, not tank top Tuesdays or anything like that. It's every day.
On race day, it'll take 1,000 volunteers to see this to the finish line. Along with dozens of others, they fly in, known as race carnies.
So just like the guys that follow the bands, you know, from on a concert tour that go and set up the stages and get everything ready, that's what they do. They travel all over the world, from Beijing to, you know, the New York Marathon.
Mandy West ran the New York Marathon, but last year was her first in Baton Rouge.
They did an amazing job. Like, everyone was super hospitable. The course was great.
It was really great for Amini Ashak. She was shocked to win last year's marathon, her first ever.
No words. I had no idea.
Was it something she ate?
I had a sweet potato for breakfast.
That's it? One sweet potato?
One sweet potato. That's like my go-to before the marathon.
So what did you eat last night?
Sushi and a sweet potato and a piece of king cake.
She gets bragging rights, but no prize money. It's been that way from the start.
It was twofold. You know, we really were, our idea was we wanted a race again for Louisiana. We wanted to kind of capture what we're about. And not that the elite runners aren't a special piece of running, but for us it's about everybody else. Like, it's the everyman that's coming out there and running the 5K. To the, you know, our original goal was to get people running. It was kind of this idea of going from the 49th least healthy state to #1 and building an event that everybody could come to.
Louisiana hasn't risen to #1, but we're stepping it up. The number of area marathon runners has more than tripled since it started 6 years ago.
And that's super cool to know that you've affected somebody and given somebody that opportunity.
Local runners are down slightly this year due to the flood.
Somebody that's rebuilding their house doesn't have an extra $100 to come run. I mean, that's just the reality of it, and people's priorities are different. I mean, it's also time. It's like, oh, it may not be a money issue, but I've been spending every waking moment sheetrocking or doing whatever, so it affects the commitment that you have to run every day.
Even those who aren't running or volunteering can help by cheering.
Like your house, you hosted a little get-together on the front lawn one year.
Oh, that was so much hard work.
But that helps make the experience. You know, the more the homeowners from Terra Homeowners Association and Goodwood and all along the route come out and support, we get that feedback as the community really helps to support the event.
And when the race ends, the party begins. Everyone's invited downtown to the Finish Fest on North 3rd Street. You can tap into everything from live music to food from 25 of our best restaurants.
Just a great atmosphere, super positive. Everybody's fired up. It's a lot of beer, a lot of bands, a lot of hanging out, good times.
No doubt, there's something for everyone.
Did you have a favorite part? Was it the lakes? Was it the neighborhoods? Was it the trees?
Right there at the finish line. Yeah.
The 7th Louisiana Marathon will take place next year, January 14th. Now, hopefully temperatures won't be in the 70s then, but it is Louisiana, so you never know. But still to come. Lights, camera, action. The small town of Springfield transforms into a movie set. We'll take you behind the scenes of DOA Blood River. Then, why we're making life harder on ourselves than it has to be. DR.NICK gives us tools to make this a more manageable new year as Weekends with Whitney continues.
Who says an old dog can't learn new tricks?
Do you want to learn how to inspire? Learn to fly? Or learn how to drive?
Take a run around this park.
Or this park?
Or this park? And we'll teach you how to dance.
And reach for the sky.
No matter your age, Breck offers classes to keep you moving, learning, and having fun.
Visit Breck.org and see how together we've made Breck better than imagined.
Welcome back to Weekends with Whitney. Movie stars, crew, and cameras recently descended on the quiet town of Springfield. It's where a business deal of a lifetime turns deadly. Most movies are written, then they scout out a location for it. But for one of the few times in movie history, director and screenwriter Stephen Cyrus Shepard says Springfield and the Tickfall River dictated the script.
And based on the locations, I sat down and wrote a script in about 3 weeks. The environment is its own character.
DOA Blood River is inspired by the 1950s film noir classic DOA, starring Edmund O'Brien.
Well, this involves some other people, Captain.
We're not a remake. We took it and we twisted it in this whole other direction. And so I think it's got a mental thing. You got a lot of characters. A lot of people can relate to different things. It's a time-taking thriller, and it's about a man trying to provide for his family, and then he gets caught up in this ring of, corruption, and you never know who is doing what to him.
It's a talented cast, including Krista B. Allen, who starred in ABC's Revenge.
Trying to make up for lost time.
And Baby Daddy.
Could you be any more childish?
I don't know. Let's see.
In this, she plays a stripper. What attracted you to this role?
I liked that Jessie, she's essentially this kind of stripper with a heart of gold character, but she's not written so flat like often the sexy girl in like an action film is. She has a bit of depth, and I really like that.
Krista added an artistic element of her own too, an aerialist stripper.
So she was written as a stripper, like standard on the pole. And I spoke to the director, Stephen, and I said, look, I have this skill that I just kind of cultivate in my spare time. Do we want to use it? Does it work? Is she an aerial stripper? Maybe yes, maybe no. And I think it worked out really, really well. It lends itself, it's such a fluid kind of art, so it lends itself to being quite sexy.
She's a great actress, she knows what she's doing with her character. I casted her in this because I thought she brings a certain value to the film as an actress. She has this vulnerability, but at the same time she could be this stripper.
Tyson Sullivan brings his own unique heat too. He and Stephen first worked together alongside Robert De Niro in the movie Heist.
How much? Come on, let's go, hurry.
I play the bad guy, I'm the villain in it, and I saw something in him. I love playing bad guys.
Do you?
Yeah, I do. And I saw something in him that we could all relate to, and so that's what really kind of brought me into this, was trying to bring that humanity into a character.
Tyson's loved playing different characters all his life.
It's pretty crazy to make a living doing what you did when you were a little kid and playing pretend. You know what I mean? Like, my mom tells a story. I used to be in, like, every day I'd go to my closet in my room and like put on outfits and like make things and like just play by myself. And so, to be able to do that as a grown-up and make a living at it is pretty insane.
For Days of Our Lives soap star Billy Flynn, this is his first starring role in a full feature film. He says it's a complete 180 from acting inside a studio lot.
That article you wanted to write? Let's do it.
And there's been some tough times. I mean, it challenges you as an actor, and some things that you kind of thought that you had figured out, and then you realize that there's different lessons to be learned and more to figure out. So, like I said, I'm looking forward to whatever comes next and doing it better.
All agree nothing could be better than shooting here.
It's amazing. It's what I call, it's like God's country.
Kind of like the purest sense of Louisiana, it feels like, with the bayous and the moss on the trees and just small towns. I don't know, there's something really cool about that, genuineness. I really appreciate, this part of Louisiana really kind of taking us under their wing and letting us experience, kind of the greatness that you guys have here.
And I have to say that it feels like a studio backlot, because you cannot literally build this kind of stuff it takes way too long to do this on a studio lot. It's natural, it's been seasoned here for 20 years, and you just come and shoot it, and then it's something really special, and I think we've captured that pretty well in this film.
However, this film almost was stopped dead in the water. Executive producer Rory Fredella says the August flood soaked their original plans to shoot in September.
All the homes, the infrastructure we had in place was impacted. My home had 5 feet of water. My office had, several feet. Other places that we were going to utilize and other friends that were going to contribute. Everybody was impacted. Everybody's world just turned upside down. You went from just your day-to-day existence to instantly having to rebuild your life. So,
pulling it all back together was somewhat of a miracle.
But as soon as things settled down, we jumped right back in. So within 6 months from script to film, I've never done it that fast. But I have to tell you, Johnny Garrett is a cinematographer on this. We used some amazing cameras and lenses on this. Cinema, we're using the same stuff they use in Magnificent Seven. I mean, it's pretty sick stuff, and the movie looks incredible. So I'm really proud, and I can't wait to show it to the audience.
No release date has yet been set for the movie, but as soon as it is, I'll let you know. And still to come, Dr. Nick gives us tools to stop making life harder for ourselves than it has to be, as Weekends with Whitney continues.
Maggio, the only way to go. Maggio Buick GMC, your satisfaction's our specialty. We really deliver on Falls River, here in New Roads. Small town atmosphere, legendary service for over 60 years. Maggio, the only way to go. The only way to go, that's Maggio.
9-time winner of the prestigious Buick GMC Mark of Excellence Award. We often make life more difficult than it has to be. So how about this new year? We don't make it so difficult on ourselves. Dr. Nick joins us with some tips. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year, Whitney.
Boy, I love the sound of this topic. Let's not make life harder than it has to be, because we often do.
We often do, and we do it unconsciously because we're in that kind of habit of that human propensity of to read things maybe the wrong way.
The wrong way. Well, which is one of the first things you said, that how we make life more difficult is that we ascribe intent.
Intent. Someone swerves out in front of me. For five times in a row, I hit the red light. Right? I can't seem to find the right register at the grocery store. And it constantly, okay, somebody's out to get me. The world's against me. You know, when what might have happened is I missed an accident by having the red light, or I got to meet a great lady by standing in line. It's just,
or somebody doesn't return a text or a phone call. And when we talk about ascribing intent, immediately we take it personally, like, oh, well, I'm not important to them, they don't like me, they're mad at me, when in reality, they were so busy, or they just forgot, or they were going to, and the phone rang. And how many times does that happen? All of us.
And that resonates with another issue, which is the expectations. If I'm expecting someone to respond immediately, that's a pretty high expectation.
Yeah.
I'm already making the judgment that something's wrong if I don't hear back, instead of again lowering it to, well, it's what it is.
Right.
It's what it is.
They'll get back when they can.
Or again, I like to say sometimes, just be careful of the judgment. It's just another word of intent or expectations, but also to be able to communicate the expectation. You know, somebody told me recently that her father, she has an elderly father, and he always invited her to come over and spend the evening. And she thought, oh, I need to go because I know he's just so lonely. I said, why don't you ask him? Do you know why he was inviting her?
Tell me.
He thought she was lonely. You communicate, and you see that sometimes what you expected that person to want or need was wrong. Which is why communication is just so important.
And why are we so paralyzed by it sometimes?
Yeah,
why are we afraid to say, hey, Dad, so why have you been asking me over so often?
And it's so, what makes it even more incredible is that when we do it, it's like, that was so easy.
Right.
Why did I ascribe, or why did I expect? Yeah, it's.
So we're going to lower our expectations.
Lower our expectations.
So that
watch the intent, ascribing the intent. And by the way, let me make clear, I'm not necessarily saying that we go too personal. It's that negative intention. It's that something's got to be wrong. The world's against me. When the world may be saying, no, this is the best way for this to flow.
To play out.
Play out.
Which is another reason or another way you say that we make life harder than it has to be for ourselves, which is that we're apocalyptic.
I love that word. It's the end times. We see something happen. And let me be very careful with this. I know too many people in Baton Rouge, and I think it's important for us to continue to show our sympathy with the flood. I'm sure that felt like an apocalyptic moment. But I would bet you that many people are now looking back and saying, for all the crisis, I got this out of it, or this came from it, or I've changed my understanding of values and what matters, or I'm grieving, and grieving is good, and it's making me appreciate life more. Do I cringe when the rain comes? Yes, and that's fine. That's fine. But to see everything bad as it's the end of the world is just that's where I think, and we may be stretching that a little, but I do think sometimes we do it.
I always call it henny penny. The sky's falling.
The sky's falling. The sky's falling.
And I have an uncle we call Eeyore. Because there are some people that are just that way. But boy, how much happier they would be.
And you do notice that all these are in that realm of I really don't know.
Explain.
I don't know what the intent was. Why am I judging it? I don't know what the expectation is until I talk about it. I don't know
what the future holds.
What the future holds when this bad thing happens, because bad things happen. Which leads to, I think, another one, which some people may be upset with, but I think it's still a problem, is when we always are waiting for a sign before we make a decision.
Right.
Show a sign. Sometimes we really have to roll the dice, or there may be many signs.
Right.
And we have to pick one.
And so then we pick the one that we really want.
Anyway, or we might flip and look for a passage. We look and say, I didn't really like that one. Let me cheat.
I've done that.
Find the one I want. And you hear it's that, what are we looking? And I understand again that need to feel like, yes.
This is what I was waiting for.
This feels good, or this is what I'm waiting for. But I still think that there's times when we just have to make the choice.
Right.
We have to make the choice.
Even when it's difficult.
I remember a lady saying to me once, I just don't know what I'm going to do about this marriage. I just can't seem to face the problem. And she said, you're my sixth therapist. And I said, you really don't need another therapist. You're going to make this decision when you make the decision. And you keep looking for somebody to give you the way, and you've got to create this path.
Yes.
But isn't that a wonderful sense of human responsibility?
Yeah.
It's my life. It's her life. It's your life.
Her decision. Did she ever move on it?
She did move on it, and they're doing much better.
No kidding.
Yeah. Just from confronting the issues and understanding where each one was coming from. In today's world of intimacy, Whitney, people change a lot. You have to keep the communication going, not to get off the subject, but you really do.
Sure.
And that's back to expectations.
Even when you've been together forever.
That's right. We've had certain expectations when we married. 30 years, those expectations change.
True.
They change. So those are just a few. A few of what we need to be careful for as we begin the new year.
Because yes, life's hard enough. Let's not make this 2017 year harder than it has to be.
Which I guess basically is down to that kind of let it go. Let it go, let it be, accept what it is, and then reflect on it and think, wow, that really worked out.
Yes.
Because it usually does, and then we die. Happy New Year, everyone.
What do you say about death? It's so funny.
The preacher said it. Oh, all will be well, and if it's not all well, it's not the end. Now, I really like that.
I do too.
But
say it again.
In the end, all will be well, and if all is not well, it's not the end. Yeah. But what about the one that the preacher said? You're never going to find a U-Haul on the back of a hearse. And that U-Haul could consist of all these negative thoughts.
Yeah.
I'm not going to take them with us, so let them go.
Let them go. Great.
Let them go.
Hate to let you go.
Good to see everyone. Have a great 217.
That's right. Much more of Weekends with Whitney after this. Atlas Foundation Repair, fixing your foundation problems for more than 30 years while preserving and protecting your trees. Thanks for spending part of your Sunday with us here on Weekends with Whitney. And don't forget, there is still plenty of time to go down and take part in the Marathon's Finish Festival. Starting here in just a few minutes, Kiana Linnell and the Lush Life will start playing. Then at 11, Grammy Award winner John Cleary takes the stage. All the fun continues until 2 o'clock. But however you decide to spend your Sunday, I hope it's a great one. We'll be back here again next Sunday. Hope you are too. Until then, you can follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, or you can head to my YouTube channel, Weekends with Whitney, or my website, weekendswithwhitney.net. This morning, we leave you with our head in the clouds.
Take it in, but don't look down. 'Cause I'm on top of the world.